everybody, Marissa here with I Can See with Marissa and with Papa. We are here
Hey, everybody.
vertical today.
Yeah.
we're doing this different because we're on Instagram. Hi, Instagram. Usually we are just YouTube, but today we're going Instagram and some other TikTok as well. So let's see if we can reach some more people with our crazy talk that we talk every day. And surprised we don't get more comments about people telling us we're crazy. One guy actually said on TikTok, said, "You're lucky you're hot because you're absolutely that SHIT crazy."
Oh, well, such is life.
I'm like, was that a compliment or was that?
Yeah. Was that a
But I'm like, well, thank you for calling me hot.
Yeah.
But he came back on a couple because I've been posting the shorts that AI makes. So AI makes little shorts for us using the program that we have. And I don't even really listen to them. I just go like, oh, okay, that's a cool topic. And I'll just post them. And some of them I do sound absolutely insane. It's like, whoa, where they cut it off just like right at the wrong spot to where I did sound pretty insane. But, but what do they say? Psycho and psychic are like very, very, there's a very thin line between psycho and psychic. And, like the guys always say, spirituality is just science before it's proven. So I think that people that are into spirituality sometimes are a little bit more ahead of people, and people start to believe stuff when it becomes scientifically proven. But I mean, scientists are some of the craziest people ever. Bill had me meet with some scientists when I was doing books with him, and man, those people are wacky. Have you ever met like a real scientist, like had a real conversation with a real scientist before?
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah, they're just they're geniuses. They're people who have a very high IQ. And when you have people with high IQ have like no common sense. Everything is book learned or whatever, because everything they read stays in their brain. But they wear the same clothes every day, sloppy looking clothes, or old shoes and clothes, and they talk to themselves a lot. And
that's funny. The guys are actually saying that they're saying that
smart. They're very smart. Look how goofy Elon Musk is. He's probably the
right. Yeah, he's a genius, right? Is he a scientist?
Yes, he's a genius. I don't know what his IQ is, but it's very high. Did you see that? He's the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, which happens to be the name of his Bitcoin. His Bitcoin is called Dogecoin. But anyway, the Department of Government Efficiency is going over the entire bureaucracy of the government right now and weeding it out. They're just going to eliminate all these big bloated bureaucracies where people don't really work. They just have make work, pushing papers around every day, and then most of them don't even go to work. Only 6% of the bureaucracy actually shows up for work in Washington, D.C. So anyway, Elon Musk just hired 5, let's say, geniuses, because they have worked for him on SpaceX and on Tesla. And you know what their ages are?
What?
19 to 25.
I was going to say, but wait, so hold on. I got muted on accident because my camera died. The only 6% of federal employees show up for work. Is that what you just said? Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
In what department? All across the board?
Trump came in and said, okay, all you people that work for the federal government, I'll give you until Thursday, that's tomorrow, at 5 p.m. to accept a resignation, and they'll get paid until the end of September. And they'll keep all the benefits, but then they're out. He wants to get rid of the bureaucracy. So the first thing he did was he said, okay, you can retire or quit, and we'll give you pay all the way up until the end of September in 2025. But if you don't take it, we're telling you right now, there's no guarantee you're going to have a job, because they're going to eliminate entire departments. And so technically you can't fire federal government employees because they have this very powerful union. But if there's no job position, they're just eliminated. So
Oh,
what they're
okay.
going to do is they're going to eliminate entire
Eliminate the job
departments,
titles.
entire, yeah. And so they're going to cut it all down. But what's funny is that the quote unquote experts that are helping Elon Musk are only 19 to 25 years old. And
Wow.
people are making fun of him, like Ilhan Omar and AOC are saying, "Oh, look, he's so stupid. He's hiring 19-year-old kids that are able to go into the Treasury Department and look at all these records and everything." Well, they're all geniuses. Elon
Yeah.
Musk knows what he's doing. He'll get more work done with those 5 or 6 kids than he would with 1,000 bureaucrats.
Well, he's
So
smart because those kids. I mean, I've been working with younger people recently, like coaching, like Yanni, and I've been coaching with her, and then one of her friends, I met her. They're like 29 or 30. I mean, I call it young because I'm almost. It's Year of the Snake, by the way. Year of the Snake as of 3 days ago. It's the Year of the Snake, and I'll be 48 this year. But I was excited. I was like, "Whoa, it's my year! It's the Year of the Snake." But anyways, I've been working with these younger people, and the amount of intuition and the amount of connection that they have to the other side is just like if I would have been that connected at that age. I mean, I know I had my spiritual awakening at like 33, and I remember seeing clients that were like in their 60s going like, "Oh, you're so young," and blah, blah, blah. It's been a while now, since 2008. But the point is that like if I would have been that connected and in the know and had like somebody like me coaching and teaching them how to like just not be their ego, not project on people, not like get all crazy in their head about certain things, and to connect with their guides. But the thing is, these people that are super connected, they don't have guides. They don't have guides at all. They have their higher self. So they have like their soul, their oversoul, they call it like their monad. But they don't have like Peter dancing around. They don't have like Abraham. They don't have all like the little guides. And I think the guides are for us lower souled people that like we're down like lower in our bodies. So I think that our oneness, our greatness of who we are up in the upper chakras will put like little holograms or little guides down in the lower chakra system to be like, "Oh, okay, in case I fall that low, I'm going to have someone going like, go that way. Like when me and Jeff got lost and we were arguing over who went the right way and who went the wrong way. When we were out hiking to the hot springs one time, we were both wrong. And we finally, after an hour of hiking, came to a sign that said, "You've gone the wrong way and you've walked about an hour out of your way. Turn around and go back." There's that sign. And we were like, oh, we were both wrong. We should have gone the other way. But like somebody was nice enough to put up a sign that said like, "You've gone the wrong way for like 3 miles, like turn around and go back." Why they couldn't put the sign like 2 miles back to it, so we only had to walk 1 mile instead of 3? I don't know. But yeah, it's that's kind of what the guides are saying. It is like the guides are kind of set there in our field. So
I think, Marissa, sorry to interrupt, but I think your microphone's dying.
Uh-oh.
Is it a Bluetooth?
Yeah, let me hear you talk and I'll
you sound okay now. It's
okay.
just that I was getting every other word with that little ping, ping, ping.
Oh, darn it. Let me get my real mic because it did die. My camera died. Let me see. It'll come back to life. Come on, you can do it. Okay, there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can make out what you just last said, because you'd say we got every other word, and in between each word was a ping, ping. So I figured your microphone, if it's Bluetooth, is probably dying.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening.
But you sound okay now.
Yeah.
Did you plug it back in or something?
It's for some reason it just my camera's dying but it's plugged in, so it's I mean for some reason it's because the guides, they suck up all the energy. But let me just make sure my mic sounds okay before I.
Well, I always tell people that what I.
Can you hear me okay now?
What's that?
Now you can hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Good. Okay. Perfect.
But what I tell everybody is what I've learned is that we all have a team. We have a team because we are assigned seraphim and cherubim. So we have angels that are assigned to us, whether we like it or not. They were assigned.
So they told us we have seraphim and cherubim. That's what they've told us. Because I don't remember. But
seraphim and cherubim, yes. that's both from our channelings, your channelings, and also the Urantia book. But
Wow.
we also have the Spirit of God that lives within us. We have the Spirit of Jesus, which is the Spirit of truth that lives within us, and we also have the Holy Spirit that lives within us, or we live within it. Um, and then you throw in the angels that are assigned to us. And
Uh-huh.
the guides, I know we have guides. I've got a guide for sure. I've got a couple of them. I've got a health guide, which is Dolores or Celeste, and I never know which name I call her. And the other one is Eden. And Eden always finds me a front row parking space. So
Ah.
I know I've got a guide because, I mean, just when I was in Las Vegas last time and I'd go to Costco, I mean, it's like, I mean, trying to find a place to park at Costco is like impossible because
Oh
there's
yeah, it
so
is.
many
100%.
so many cars going in.
Definitely put God to the test on that one. Put your guide to the test at Costco every time. Come on, God. Guys, get me a parking spot.
Well, each time I went to Costco, I would apologize as I was waiting in the left turn lane to go in. I go, okay, and I hate to ask you this, but you know, it sure would be nice if you could give me a front row parking spot. But I know that's pretty menial thing that I'm asking you. But you know, it'd be kind of nice. And sure enough, I would get guided to a certain row to go down, and bingo, I'd get a front row parking space while everybody else is still waiting for somebody to walk and park, out in the lower 40.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get those front. So Eden always helps me out in that regard. Dolores helps me out with my health. You introduced me to Dolores, I don't know, 12 years
I
ago.
think she was a guide that you knew in a past life. I think she was probably like Eden incarnated or something. Dolores and I feel like she was like, I remember her being like a nurse from like when you were like in the military or something in another lifetime
Anyway,
or something like
yeah, I talked
she's
to
in
her,
spirit.
when I've got a lot of problems. And like Drew right now has a really bad back. And I told her, you just need to, I just told her this texting. We didn't talk, we were
Oh,
texting,
okay.
letting her know that, Jesus helped me. He helped me with my back. You just have to ask and then listen to see if something's going to be told to you. And she wrote back, she said, well, I guess it's just meant to be, and I'll have to just live with it. Well, that's what I did. I sat on the edge of my bed and I said, okay, God, if this is meant to be, I guess I'm just going to be in all this pain and everything. But if it isn't meant to be, I sure would like to be healthy. And
Yeah.
that's when I heard either Jesus tell me, or it was Peter, or you said it might have
It
been
was your dad.
my
It was your
dad.
dad and Jesus.
Yeah, because
Jesus.
only my dad said, sleep on your right side, dummy. And I went, oh my
Yeah.
God, Jesus just called me a dummy. He said, no, that was probably my dad. So that makes more sense. But I slept on my right side, and 3 days later, I no longer needed surgery. And
Yeah.
it happened again a year later, but the pain was on the right side, so I slept on the left side. 3 days later, no pain, is all gone.
The
So
same as resurrection. They're saying
it
that
wasn't. I wasn't meant to have that pain. I wasn't meant to
no,
have
you
that
were
pain.
not.
And somehow they communicated with me. To me, it was like booming loudspeakers. It's very few times I've heard God. That was one of them. The other one was with Tawny, when I was trying to figure out whether I should stay with Drew, with her taking over Tawny and everything. And
I don't remember this story.
oh yeah, yeah. And I prayed about it, and loud and clear I heard, Tawny needs a dad.
Oh, okay.
Tawny needs a dad. And that was their answer. That was their answer to me. I was trying to figure out, do I get involved in this, or do I stay with Drew? I wasn't even sure if I was really liked her that much.
Yeah.
Um, but the only answer they gave me was Tawny needs a dad. So I'm assuming that that's what they wanted me to do, was to be her dad. So,
Yeah.
very, very rare when something comes through that is not your own thoughts. They're not your thoughts. And that's God talking to you. So anyway,
Well, they're talking about the geniuses again. Remember how you said the geniuses talk to themselves? Peter is
yeah,
saying like Peter's like, no, I told you. Oh no, blah. And he's like he's going like this. Like he's talking to himself and he's like teasing, saying like, look, I'm a genius. And he's like, no, I told you to be quiet. No, I said this. He's like joking around, but he says that all human beings have an inner critic. All human beings have an inner crybaby. All human beings have an inner tough guy. All human beings have an inner, what's it, a squire? What are the people that get stuff thrown at them like fruits? Not, it's the court clown, not the court clown, jester. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every human being has 5 primary aspects within them that are inner. So it's like an inner voice, an inner guide, an inner critic, an inner jester, an inner tough guy, an inner crybaby. And these inner selves all exist within our heart. So they have the ability to authentically show themselves and be part of the personality of the human being.
Oh no. I think we just lost Marissa.
Ay. I swear.
Oh, there you are. Well, you're not
I have 2 cameras. That one keeps dying. So hopefully the voice sounds okay on this. Let me see. They said there's 5 aspects of self that we can.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Here we go. Okay, can you hear me okay with this microphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to use the computer one. So they said the 5 pieces of us inside of us are 5 different parts of our personality. We've got we've got the tough guy. We've got the crybaby. We've got the court jester. You know, we've got the funny guy. We've got the very serious us. And these different aspects of self exist above our solar plexus. Because whenever you say this, Joe, whenever you say we're living in a movie theater, what you are saying is, I am living in a movie theater that my soul is creating for me in my solar plexus. So down in the abdomen area, this is where the Holy Spirit resides. This is where the Spirit of Truth resides. Most human beings exist down at level 1 or level 2 souls down in the lower energy centers. But many who have come to the earth to shift it, to change it, were automatically existing within the solar plexus area, which is the 3rd energy center, and moving into the heart chakra, which is the 4th energy center. So if you are somebody who is living in a movie or a video game, so to speak, this is when you have not fully attained complete control over your soul's consciousness that resides up in the throat area. So if you look at yourself as your 12-story building, or let's in this case, the 7th-story building, look at it like your soul is hanging out in the 5th floor, and down in the 4th floor is the heart, and down the 3rd floor is the movie theater. This is where the IMAX movie theater is, and everything that your soul thinks becomes. And then you, as Christ consciousness, which comes from up here in the crown, drops down into that movie theater and experiences life through all the creations that have been created. So we have come to a point on the planet at this point where we don't have to live in the movie theater anymore. We can live in a piece of ourselves that creates and experiences instant satisfaction, instant gratification, instantly receive what it is that we want in life. We are no longer hostage to being in a video game or being in a movie. And you may ask this, and we hear Dolores ask this, and we hear Rosemary ask this, but we have a plan. What about the plan? And they said, and Peter goes like this, they're ripping up the plan. He says, if you choose to live in a lower energy center within yourself, that's you choose to have some free will and have like no free will, and then some free will. If you live in a lower energy center, if you choose to live in the heart and above, then you're living in your true self or your higher self, but it's much more responsibility, so to speak. If you're negative, you're going to start experiencing negative things in life. And many people have just learned to be negative. So understand that this is the dawning of a new age whereby everybody's going from being Jesus and then going to being Jesus after the crucifixion and resurrection, because what's happening is our old self that can be controlled, that can be led, that can be guided is dying away, and the new us is emerging from the ashes, so to speak. And we are beginning to be able to live a life where we can think something and it will happen. And we're talking in the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, people are going to start experiencing this where it's never been experienced before. We've been talking about this for almost 13 years with the two of you, We've been talking about it for 12 years, like legitimately for 12 years, telling you about this time, and it's finally here. So it's very exciting indeed. But
Yeah, the
I,
big day is February 14th. February
I
14th. The big shift occurs on February 14th.
oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. What they were just showing me was they were just showing me this
That's 6 days? 8 days?
it's soon. I don't know what today's
Eight
date
days.
is.
8 days from now.
We're
All
on
right.
the we're on the fifth, so we're on episode
Oh,
five.
today's 6. So we got 8 more days. Yeah, a week and a day will be
Yeah,
Valentine's Day, but there's going to be a big major shift taking place. Something's happening on February 14th. They've been telling us over and over, okay, it was going to be 96 days, and then it was down to 75 days, and then it was 63 days. And, it's going down, it's going down, going
and
down.
it's all works out to be the same day. But what's
Yeah,
interesting,
yeah.
what's crazy,
The number always came to February 14th. And I went, oh my God,
yeah,
it's Valentine's Day.
I
So
can't even
anyway,
remember what I'm going to buy at the grocery store, let alone the amount of days towards an ascension of a planet. So there's no way I could just make it up. But check this out. So when I channel now, if I just stop talking, it's because I'm still going to the place where I go to when I channel. Like I go up to this place where I'm like above my head. I'm sitting like my first teacher kind of taught me about that. Philippe showed me about that, where I just kind of sit on this little diving board and just kind of look down at myself, and I'd see like guides walk up and they put their hands on my shoulder. And whenever they put their hand on my shoulder, I just start talking and it's whatever they're saying. Or I'll see like Jesus walk up and stand behind me or whatever. But now when I go up to this space, for some reason, because of the shift of the planet, I think I'm channeling, but I'm not. I just stopped. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Lucky. Oh man. Lucky did just destroyed the thing. Here, am I still there?
yeah, you're still on.
Lucky just sat on my keyboard. So no, it's class on Wednesday. We have class again this Wednesday, but last Wednesday, I'd be sitting there and all of a sudden I'd realize I'm not talking right now, am I? I'd be like, oh my gosh, but I'd be talking up there with whoever I was talking to, but it wasn't reaching my body. Like my body wasn't
Okay.
still channeling because somehow I'm becoming like, I'm either gonna have to be like a conscious channel and be conscious of it, but not just go into trance. Because usually what happens is I go up there and then I let the guides talk, and then I come back and I don't really remember what happened. But now I would just stop talking, but I was still getting the information. I was still hearing the guides talking, but it just wasn't coming through my mouth. So last week during meditation, it'd be like me talking, and then I'd just go silent for like 7 minutes, and I'd be like, oh, and then it's like, oh, sorry guys, I was totally channeling in my head, but it wasn't going down to my body. So I think a lot of people's spiritual gifts are going to change. I think that like the world is literally changing, and I'm not trying to be like oh run and hide. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a good thing what's happening. I just think that it's going to be something that we can't really describe or understand until we actually go
Is
through
this
it.
going to be Is this worldwide, or is this just
It's everywhere. It's
within
the whole
our?
planet. The whole planet.
Well, let me do a shout out real quick
It's our
to my.
soul group. They just said no. It's our soul group. There's different soul groups. There's 7 different soul groups, and they're all going through it at different times. Interesting.
No,
So
I'm just
our
thinking
soul group.
about. I'm thinking about my kids. I've got Adil, Adil. He's my steward in Pakistan, and taking care of a number of orphans. And he
Mhm.
watches our show, so I'm going to do a little shout out, Adil, if you're there.
Hi,
Thank
Adil.
you. Hi, Adil, and hi, kids. Hi, kids. I don't know if he's bringing the kids in or not. And then there's Prodip over in Bangladesh, and he's my steward of orphans over there, and he comes in. So Prodip, hello.
Hi,
I
Bruno.
hope you've come in as well. Anyway, so I'm wondering if this is going to happen to the kids. They're just little kids. I mean, they're orphans, probably the ages of about 4 to, I think, 12, 4
Mhm.
to 12. Um, Anything happening with them? Anything that they can look forward to? I mean, they're orphans living in very uh, dire situations. I mean, very poor, very, very, very poor. Some don't have shoes, and some don't have books. And from what little money they get, they buy books and shoes and things like that. I think is really cool. But anyway, I wonder if
If they
something.
haven't fallen, then there's no shift. So we come into this earth, we come into this world as God beings, as Christ consciousness, and it's not until we fall that we fall down into these lower aspects of self. So think about the first time you had like trauma, where like your parents forgot to pick you up from somewhere, or like a brother or sister like were really really mean to you, or it's something to where you in your mind had to kind of like, well, I just got to be tough, or I got to be this. It's like when you have to like force yourself to be a certain way, to adhere to like the world around you, to cope with the world. That's when we start to fall into like mirrored versions of ourselves. We start to fall into these alternate realities of self where we start to define what the world is around us so that we can feel safe. And these kids were born into poverty, so it's not like poverty makes them fall. It's not like poverty makes them like,
No, I don't think they're. They're
they
not.
don't even know that. I don't even know that they know that they're in poverty. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. But what's interesting to me
They
is that,
do. They do, and I'll explain why as soon as you're done.
well, they're saying that that unless we fall through our emotional stuff, like because of emotional reasons, that's when we fall, or we fall in love with our own creation, and we're like, oh, I'm going to fall into that reality and fall into that world. Then we are already in soul consciousness. So the thing that's changing is the earth is moving into, say, the fifth dimension. So anybody who's not in the fifth dimension already is getting shoved up into the fifth dimension. And these are like really negative people, really like your negative Nancy people that are always constantly complaining. They're being pushed up into creator consciousness. So that's what I was saying. Like, oh, geez, oh, hold on a second. There's a whole bunch of guides that just came in. They're guides. Man, everything's so different. Oh, it's so weird. So I'm here in
the kids guides. The kids
yeah, there's just a whole bunch of guides that just came in, and they look like they're their higher selves, and they look very they're just like, kind of like Jesus Bible clothes, like the Jesus clothes. That's what I'm seeing. But they've got like staffs, like he just had like a seizure or something, and that's why I'm holding him right now, because he's acting really weird. But the guides, they look very much like adult versions of these kids, and they're coming in to just kind of like stand next to them. And since I was tuning into them, I guess that's when I started to see their guides. But what's interesting is like I'm seeing guides on the plane of consciousness that we live on. They used to be like where we had to like go down to the earth, go all the way up through our crown, and go up out of our bodies and kind of connect with our guides. But our guides are like here on earth right now, like yeah.
Well, these kids are all Christians in a Muslim world.
Whoa.
And the Christians are persecuted. Eventually Muslims want to make sure there's no more Jews and no more Christians. So they're constantly being persecuted. They have to literally keep their worship services quiet. And all the Christians, at least there in Pakistan and in Bangladesh, they're the ones that have to clean the toilets and the sewers, and they get all the worst jobs. If you're a Christian, you get the worst jobs. And so these kids are growing up in that situation, and they're still being encouraged to love Jesus. Yet by loving Jesus, their lives are harder than their Muslim brothers and sisters. So
yeah,
that's why I feel like looking after them a little bit just seems to be the right thing to do. And I hope the kids grow up okay. I mean, they can literally give up their Christian faith and make their life better and say, okay, I don't believe in Jesus anymore. I believe in Isa, and that's the Jesus of the Muslim faith, and or Isa or Isa or whatever.
Isa, yeah, Isa. Remember when I used to say I'd see it go Isa, and it was a snake, and it would come in and it would go Isa. I remember I was doing a reading for one of the ladies that's Muslim. She moved here from Jordan, and she calls me every once in a while. Sometimes she's logged into the show. Hello, you know who you are. Hello, hello. But she's the same soul group as us. But when I was trying to tune into Jesus, when I was trying to do her session, I kept hearing Isa, but it was like, and that's when she told me, oh, that's what we call Jesus. And I was like, oh, ooh, that's kind of creepy because it's a total snake.
ISA. Yeah, ISA, Isa or Isa. And I wonder if that all happened when we were going through the phase last year.
When we were going through the Muslim thing, like reading the Muslim Bible thing.
That went all the way back to what, January of last year. January of
Yeah.
24, and even before that, we were doing a lot on the Muslim faith and getting to know who Muhammad was and everything. That was freaky. That
Mhm.
was that was different. But you know what? You just let people believe what they want to believe. I just happen to be a Christian and believe in Jesus. If you're a Muslim and you happen to believe that your life has been given over to Allah and to Muhammad, well, so be it. As long as you're not hurting somebody else, that's the bottom line. As long as you're not hurting somebody else, just
Yeah.
do whatever you want. Just don't hurt somebody else. And by pushing your faith, that's hurting somebody else.
Yeah.
Um, just
Well,
you
it could be
can,
hurting someone, but it could also be helping them to come into an
yeah,
understanding of what their like, a good understanding of, if they don't have faith, then you're pushing your faith on them. But I guess it's all just a, it's all relative. Everyone's different.
yeah. I don't have anything against anybody who's a Buddhist or Hindu or Muslim or Christian or whatever, as long as they have love God with all your heart and soul and treat your neighbor as yourself. That's it. That's it. Those were the two rules of Jesus. He said, of course, we have our 10 commandments that God gave us. But what you really want to live by is you want to love God with all your heart and soul and treat that other person like you would want them to treat you. Because if you
Yeah.
treat other people the way you would want them to treat you, you're going to treat them with respect because you're going to treat yourself with respect. Well, most
Well, a
people
lot of
will.
people don't respect themselves, but I get what they mean. I get what
Yeah.
they mean. Nobody wants to be disrespected, but we'll disrespect ourselves all day in our head. Peter was like, "Shut up, whack whack," like smacking himself, like joking around. Oh, did
Well,
you
I
mute?
don't
Okay,
I don't
no,
know
no,
if we
you're
should
not.
have we should have a long show, Marissa. Maybe if you've got a message from Jesus for everybody today, because
Yeah,
I know
I,
you
I know I
guys.
have class tonight, guys. So make sure to come over to Patreon, get signed up for tonight's class. I'm just gonna post the link. Lately, I got this new software through Zoom where you can make payments through it and everything. I just haven't had time to figure it out. But if I get that figured out, you can pay then. Otherwise, just come into class and then you can pay me later. You can pay me during class, send me like a PayPal or whatever, or a Venmo, and I'll make the payment. And if you don't have money, then just come to the class. It's a perfect opportunity to just come and enjoy the class and be there. One of the things that I wanted to share was these younger people that I was working with, and this other person that it was the husband of one of the girls that I was working with. It's a friend of the girl that I'm working with. This person's like a very like genius, like healer person, but doesn't really realize the capacity of what he can do, I think. And he's went to medical school and like all this stuff and everything, and but like does the chiropractic. And it was interesting because just doing his healing or session the other day, because I do the attunements, and the guides always take me in through and it drive you crazy, Pop, because it's like they take me in through the person's foot, and then I'm in their foot, and then I
Uh,
see all this landscape in their foot, and I see the pearl of truth, which is like the spirit of truth is inside
yeah.
of our right toe. But I was in his left toe, which told me, oh, I'm in a reflection of him, because if you're standing in a mirror, then the left foot is actually the right foot, right? So
Yeah.
what was interesting was they took me into his, and I was like, oh, I'm in a reflection of him, which means that he fell into like his own reality. He fell in love with his own creation, like what Michael did, right? He fell in love with his own
Yeah.
creation, fell in. But what was interesting was this
Became
person was like
Adam.
16 mirrors back, 16 mirrors back, because when you have a mirror in front of you and a mirror behind you, you have all these echoes of yourself. And I could see him in the middle of this big city, like kind of rocking back and forth, like crying and like not wanting to be there. And he actually confirmed that he actually was only lived like a little while away from that town that I saw him in. And I was like, whoa, this stuff is like real. This is crazy. But what was insane, and this has never been possible before, is his spirit was split in two. Like our spirit is a hologram of God, and it's like that when we're in our spirit, we are God, God is us, and it's like this like perfect piece of us, but it's got amnesia. It forgets who we are, and it lives this life, and it tries to follow the soul, but sometimes it gets separated from the soul and it does its own free will. But what I found interesting was that on the planet right now, just starting today or yesterday or the day before, as the planet shifted into this higher state of consciousness, people's spirits can possibly be split, like divided through trauma. Like if like your parents are like, you are going to go to this college, otherwise this, and you're going to die. We're going to kill you if you don't go to this. But you wanted to go to this other college. So now a piece of your spirit went to the college they told you to go to, and one goes to the one that that you wanted to go to, because we always stick with our path, but there's always a piece of our spirit that when we take the wrong turn, like when we quote unquote sin and we go against God's will, a little piece of us splits off from our spirit and it goes the way that we want it to go. And then we end up down this long trail, this long path. And remember the other day we were talking about like, well, what about the people that took vaccines? Like, are they all just going to like, something bad going to happen to them because their DNA got changed and they're not in resonance with their soul or whatever? It's not that. It won't be the case, because what I found out was we have a piece of our spirit that's gone the right way every time. So we have a piece of our spirit that didn't take the vaccine. We have a piece of our spirit that never got afraid. We have a piece of our spirit that never dropped out of college. We have a piece of our spirit that got married to the right person or went to counseling and saved a marriage that's now dead and now you're single and miserable. So it's like there's a piece of us that lives the life that we exactly planned to do. And because the planet's shifted into this higher state of consciousness, we have access to that. So we can ask to have our original spirit brought back to us, and it's like our life will just change, is what they're saying. They're saying it's not going to be able. They said we tried to explain this. This is Jesus says we tried to explain this before COVID. We tried to explain this, that the world was going to go through a shift. It was going to go through a change. But we say it so much that it's like we're like the boy that cried wolf. Oh, the planet's going to shift. Everything's going to change. Everything's going to shift. Everything's going to change, and it does. But understand that when you set forth in your day each day, what we'd like for you to do is to ask that you be your I am. So just say, I am my I am, and you'll be put into the self that enjoys its atmosphere, that enjoys where it is and what it's doing. However, if you feel like you have gone down the wrong path, if you feel like your life is miserable, if you feel like just things are just not going right, everything's going wrong, what we'd like for you to do is to ask your spirit of truth, that pearl of truth way down in your toe. We would like to ask you to bring all of your conscious awareness into the Holy Spirit in the center of your body. So the Holy Spirit's like right in the stomach area. It used to be down lower, but they're saying bring it into your Holy Spirit, or bring it into your spirit. Say, I am the Holy Spirit. I am my Holy Spirit. And bring yourself into that ball of light. And then what we'd like for you to do is begin to see yourself like an elevator, drop down through your legs, all the way down into your right toe, where the truth will always be there and the truth will set you free. Because before you fall down into the vampire world, before you fall down into the zombie world, before you fall down into the really ugly, nasty, scary places that Earth resides within, you meet that pearl of truth, and that pearl of truth screams out to you, this is the truth. This is where you need to go. This is what you need to be doing. This is where you need to be, and this is who you need to be with. And it tells you the truth. It has your entire story written within it, right there in your toe. So before you fall down into the underworld, the real underworld, it brings you truth. And truth literally will set us all free. So understand and know that if you bring yourself into that space and you ask to be aligned with your truth, when you're aligned with your truth, and you say, come back, your spirit will come back to you. All these fragmented pieces of you will come back. And with a burst of light, Christ, will come in. And it looks like a pinball, the pinball machines where you pull the thing back and it goes, pew, and it shoots the ball up in the air. Christ says, I will come in and I will personally lift you up into your crown so that you can live a glorious life, understanding and knowing that emotions don't have to hold you down anymore. Anger does not have to hold you down anymore. You do not need to allow anger, fear, judgment, all these things be your carriage anymore. You get to be free for once. You get to be free, and you don't need to live in agony that you've created for yourself, that others have created for you. Stop blaming others for what you're feeling. Stop blaming other circumstances for what you're feeling. Just know and understand that each and every one of you listening to this today are here because you needed to learn something today. And that is that you're in complete control over your life. And it is quite glorious indeed, because we didn't have control over our lives up until this point. We did not. The guides had control. God had control. The soul had control. But you as consciousness did not have control. So savor this, love this, and ask God, what is it that I want? What do I want? What do I pray for? What should I be praying for? I don't know what to pray for, because you've always turned your will over to God, and that God piece within you would then pray and ask for the things that you wanted. But now those lower pieces of us you're not gonna have access to those pieces that have to turn their will over to God. You can still turn your will over to God, but you're just gonna be turning it over to a piece of you that knows all. And it's going to be quite glorious indeed to watch human beings go from thinking they have no control to realizing how much control they really have, and just watching this beautiful symphony of life begin to exchange between human beings and individuals. And Peter says, don't even get them started on the babies coming in. The babies coming in are magical. Babies coming in are gifted, talented. They're coming in with the whole Earth story, the new Earth
Since
story.
11/11/11. Since 11/11/11.
It's 11/11/11.
That's right.
Oh
It was
yeah, yeah.
11.
No. These babies, ever since 21, since 2021, these new babies from Altera, where Courtney's baby's coming from, these Alteran babies, they're coming from the future. So they're coming from like the best way we can describe it is it's 15,000 years in the future. Just look at it that way. And then look at being down in your lower chakras, down in the root or the second, would be like you're down in 1987. You're down in past versions of yourself. And this is why when you drop emotionally and people remind you of, say, past pieces of yourself, and we drop vibrationally down into old pieces of ourselves, we're not emotionally as mature as we are right now. We're not emotionally mature at all. So we do and say things that we regret, but that's because we fall into the past. But look at it like this. These babies are coming from the future. They know what we need. They know where we're going, and they know exactly what to bring so that we can all live these fabulous, fabulous lives. The time is finally here. The golden age is coming to this planet, and we are so excited indeed. And we ask and we thank you for continuing to share these words. Even if you do look a little bit crazy, it's okay, because everyone's going to be feeling pretty good soon, and they won't care what crazy is. They'll just be happy that they're happy. We bless you. That was Jesus.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Very
Okay.
cool.
Well, keep it short today.
Yeah.
I like watching Victor Davis Hanson. Each day he does a little show on Signal, and
What's
his
Signal? Oh,
show.
is that an app?
It was an app, and now it's on YouTube, and it's called Signal.
Oh,
And
okay.
so anyway, it's kind of building up and getting staff and more people, whatever. But anyway, he does like about a 9 or 10 minute piece every day,
Oh, cool.
and it's good, except when it ends, you go, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
But he always brings something, something. Each day he's bringing something to the attention of his viewers, and I
Mm-hmm.
think from our standpoint, I don't do anything. I'm just here to keep you company. But
Nah, you do. You bring the
we
energy and the packet.
but when we come on, it's not every day, but when we do come on,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lesson there. There's something that Jesus or Peter or somebody within our soul group or within our team that wants to bring out for somebody out there. It may only be
Yep.
one person. Somebody out there is waiting to hear something that Jesus wants to put out.
Yeah.
And so hopefully somebody got something out of that today. The only question I got before we go is, how does a person retrieve? You're talking about, all this energy or whatever is down there in your toe, like a spirit of, and
Mm-hmm.
and your entire history and everything and all the lives you've led and everything are all right there. It's there for you to learn.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tap into that? Just turning your will over to God? Is that
You
it?
just
Is
ask.
that good enough?
Mm-hmm. If you go into your spirit, because your spirit is the only one that can read it. So by saying I'm my Holy Spirit, or I am my spirit now, and just seeing yourself as the spirit, you don't have to see yourself as a big ball of light or a spirit. You can just see yourself as you. But by just proclaiming I am my spirit now, you'll become the spirit that reads those frequencies, that understands those frequencies. People talk about Atlantis and Lemuria and all these places that existed on Earth at some point. They all read frequencies. They all stored everything within crystals within the Earth. And you all are big hard drives. You have your history. You have your past, your present, and your future within your body from the time you're born. It's all within the cells of your body. It's really quite fabulous indeed. So yes, it's just slowing your mind down, going into your spirit, and then just dropping down into that place where you're being told that that's where the truth is. And then just allow the truth to speak to you. Many people will say, like, I want this and I want that, and I want to manifest this, and I need $1 million, and I need to win the lottery, and I need to do this, and da, da, da. It's like, stop and listen for long enough. And many times you will hear, just as you heard Joe, you hear
Yeah.
the messages. But yes, many people don't ever stop to listen. They just bop, 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 bop. Okay,
Yeah.
amen, bye. And then they talk to God, and then they never let God talk
Listen,
back.
Yeah, they talk to
They need
God,
to
but don't
listen.
listen to God.
Exactly. And then they go, why isn't God talking to me? It's like, I'm talking to you, dear child, but your ears are shut. You
Yeah.
must listen. So going into these different spaces, and what's interesting, what they're showing me is they're saying what's very, very interesting is different parts of us that were like, say, like fractured or fragmented, like from trauma. We may have like really bad pains in our body, but as this week goes on, as long as we can stay in our spirit's consciousness, those pains are going to start to go away, because that truth, our truth within us, is going to start radiating out like, hey, you're really upset with that girl who did this to you, but did you know that this actually happened over here? And because you said this, she got offended because her dad once said something to her like that, which had nothing to do with you, but she then broke up with you and then you were traumatized. But it's what's happening is your spirit is getting to see like a review of their life. Like it's almost like they're dying. When you die and you get to see a review and you get to see all the different sides of things, what's happening is your spirit is getting to experience this in the planet's ascension, so to speak. So you'll start having realizations of, maybe I shouldn't be so upset or so mad about this, or that. So it's this next week is going to be very fun. We're very excited. We're very excited to come on live each day and just offer our support, offer our guidance, and just say, if anybody's experiencing anything, please write about it in the comments so that we can see it and we can possibly respond to it in the
One
video.
one last question
Uh-huh.
for Jesus or Peter or whoever.
Mhm.
What if somebody's got so many problems in their lives, but they're just so stubborn and they don't want to take on the will of the Father? They want to feel like or you tend to think that this person wants to do it all themselves, and they're like a mouse on a wheel. They're just spinning and going nowhere. Does prayer help? Can I pray for somebody in the hopes that that person will change, not knowing
That's the beauty of this. They're going to change.
that somebody's praying for them to accept the change?
They're
Can that change actually happen if I pray for somebody?
Yes, and this is the beauty of it. The whole planet's shifting. Those that can't handle the frequency of being quote unquote God or being Christ incarnated on this planet right now are leaving the planet. They're dying, they're going away, or they're going like getting dementia, they're getting like they're just not making any sense, because what's happening is all the voices that we spoke of in the beginning, these different characteristics of us, the jester, the fear self, the victim self, the happy self, all these different selves, all those voices are going to start becoming very loud in our heads. So many people are going to start thinking that they're hearing things, but really that's just the different aspects of them that have been running their body for X amount of time. So when you say, will they know and will they understand? There's going to be a lot of false gurus coming ahead over the next 6 to 7 months, because they're going to say, I heard God. I heard God, but what it wasn't God. It's their aspects of self. And this is why it's endearing that the two of you were talking about the scientists that talk to themselves. They're talking to those different aspects of self within them. It's like a little board within you of all these different selves that are trying to run the body, and they exist here between the heart and the solar plexus. So as the earth ascends and flies past that area up into the heart and up into the throat, those little pieces of self are smushing together, remerging together, but people are going to hear them. So people will find themselves talking to themselves. They'll be going to the store and they'll go, should we go in the store now? Yeah, let's just go. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, all right, good. Yeah, that sounds good. It's like they're going to be talking to themselves in their own heads. And this happened back in 2018 when we passed through the center of 2 energy centers, where people just tend to talk to themselves when they're passing through these different aspects of self, because they go from being one version of their higher self to another version, to another version, to another version, as we continue to refine ourselves. But yes, there's people that we can hear chuckling within their own head thinking, wow, I really have been talking to myself a lot lately. But yes, this is normal. But people are going to have epiphanies. They're going to have awakenings. They may think that it's because of something like they'll see something happen, like an accident on the freeway. And they'll say, it's because I saw that accident on the freeway. I know God now. It's like, no, you just happen to see an accident on the freeway. Your brain is using that as an excuse. But it's just because the planet is that much closer to God. We are that much closer to God. And Satan doesn't like it. The fallen angels don't like it, but the fallen angels can't come with us into these higher aspects of self. So people are either going to be down, way down, or people are going to allow themselves to be taken up into these higher aspects of self, which is why people are getting nervous for some family members that are very wrapped up in the anger of, say, I hate Trump. I hate him so much. It's getting caught up in these false realities where they're actually believing TikTok, the media, things of this sort that just want to get people mad for ratings, or they want to get mad for likes or thumbs up or whatever, or they honestly believe what they're saying. But these people that are wrapped up in these false realities where they're just so angry, we need to pray for them. Those are the ones we need to pray for, because they've fallen into a false reality that doesn't exist, and they're going based off of people's reports or people's ideas of what is happening in the world, and it's not even real. It's based on someone's opinion. So if you're going to pray for anyone, pray for those that are abnormally like this, the family member that you were speaking of, the two of you were talking about before the show. So the family member that's just so angry, that wants to move out of the country because she's watching TikTok, and TikTok tells her that Trump is bad and all of these things. But it's fine to think Trump is bad, but don't because somebody on TikTok says so. It's feel opinions and no opinions based on truth, based on real reality, and always look at all the different sides. People that like him, look at the other side that doesn't like him. Look to see for truths in there. But if you truly want to know truth about something, just go down into your toe, ask to feel the truth within you, and that truth will set you free. And you'll look at the news and go, hey, that guy is conservative. I'm conservative, but he's not making any sense. He's actually kind of full of it. So I'm not going to believe him either. So it's just beginning to understand and use your body as an anchor and knowing what truth is and what truth is not. And that's it. That's it. The guys are
so the answer to my question is I can go ahead and pray for, let's say, Drew. I want to pray for Drew that her back pains go away. I'm not so sure that she's still trusting. And
pray for her to have the trust.
Can I quietly pray for her and hope that come February 14th and after, her life will change and things will be better for her?
Jesus says, this is your prayer. Just say, Heavenly Father, I come to you today with a request that you bring into Drew the love that you have for her, so that she can understand and know your love. And when she knows your love, I know, God, that there is no way that anybody could not believe and not have faith, because your love is what we all seek. Your love is what we are after. And when she feels that love, and just pray that her heart open so that she can feel the love of the Father, so she can feel the love of her divine self, so she can feel that. When she feels it, she will make the changes on her own. She just tends to have lost faith at this point. Tends to be a little bit sad right now. And the sadness comes through, and life isn't working out the way that I thought it was going to be. And what's going on here? And oh gosh, and not really knowing how to tend to those feelings, because she's just never really been good with doing that. So she's doing what she's always done. And then the body revolts. So just ask that she be given the emotional intelligence, that she be given the spiritual intelligence to feel God's love for her. And that will be good enough, Joe, in that you are giving her the ability to feel God's love and your love too. And your love too. And it's, you two aren't talking, but it doesn't mean that you don't love each other. You guys have lived your lives together for X amount of years, and you guys have been together. You made lives together. You've got a life together. So just your prayers will help, and your fields are still merged. So your prayers will help in assisting her in feeling the love of the Father. And that's all she needs to feel. Because when she feels that, her higher self kicks in. She's a healer. She can heal herself. Her intentions will go there. But if you tell her that, she'll do the exact opposite. So just pray that she feels God's love. That's it.
And this isn't just for me. This is for other people as
everyone.
well.
Yeah, this is for anyone
who are going through.
If you're praying for someone to get healed, just ask for them to feel God's love, feel their divine self. Because then once they feel that and they go, oh, wow, I feel loved. Now their divine self is taken over. And now it's more than any of us could ever do with prayer. If their higher self takes over, and now their higher self has access to their physical body, and they can heal them. They can do whatever.
Good. I kind of take the easy way. I just tell my team to go help her team.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good way.
You guys go over there and help her team.
Successful way.
What's that?
That's a more successful way to do things, because what you're doing is you're handing it over and saying, take care of it. And you're not obsessing on it going, did it change? Did she shift? Does she feel better? Did my prayer work? Ego. Feeling like, oh, I need to be the one to fix her. By turning it over to your team to go to her team, this actually has more impact than you trying to pray her into health, or because you're constantly looking, when we're the ones praying, we're constantly looking for that refinement of their energy, and we're constantly looking for the confirmation that we're actually doing something good. And then usually we're dumb enough as human beings to go like, oh, I was the one that prayed for you. That's why you're healed, which sounds even more ridiculous because they're actually the ones that are allowing themselves to be healed. You're just opening up the space, praying for them to be able to feel that love, and you're holding space for them to be able to heal themselves because nobody heals another human being. Each human being heals themselves. Other human beings can be a conduit to that light energy to raise someone's vibration enough so they can heal themselves. That's cool. I like that.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Jesus, as always. I really appreciate it. It's amazing. We talk, I say, thank you, Jesus, for doing it.
Yeah.
Yet Jesus was the creator of our universe,
I know.
our whole universe. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, how hard to create beings that can actually think? How does that work? How do
I
those
know.
cells in our brains communicate? I mean, it's
It's
insane. It's just insane what it
our
took
bodies are miracles, and like
for
pregnant women
everything's
literally
a
are.
miracle.
The milk
Everything's a
that's made in
miracle.
a pregnant woman like feeds the baby. It gives them their like natural vaccines. It gives them all the antibodies they need. Like the milk in like a woman is magical. The
Yeah,
pregnancy of a woman is magical. And what the guide said is when women become pregnant, that a lot of the women that were not activated in their upper chakras are becoming like instantly pregnant over the last like few weeks because they didn't want to have issues. The higher self was like, oh, my human being isn't activated. But if they're pregnant, they'll get activated automatically because the baby's activated. Because the baby goes into their field and it instantly activates all their chakras. So just like they were saying the other day, like, oh, if your chakras aren't activated, then you're gonna experience like some like negative stuff or some negative emotions or feelings or whatever. But what they're saying is that many women became pregnant, even if it's not gonna stick. Maybe it's not gonna stick, but they did that so that women that weren't activated up there could continue to live life on Earth and not have issues. So we're gonna have a baby. It's they're calling it another baby boom. Oh, we're gonna have a baby boom.
well, I think so. I hope so because of basically the new administration with Trump and JD Vance. JD Vance has 3 young kids. There's a lot. There's a lot of people that are younger now getting into the public eye who have children, and the focus is families. Families. We need to have families
Mhm.
again and children,
Yes.
and so I think I believe it. I believe there's a new baby boomer or a
Yep.
baby boom coming again.
Yep.
You know,
Baby boom.
I'm a,
And what's interesting is those that and that they're gonna start to come out with ways where we can bypass any of like the negative things that happen to people when if they got the vaccine that made them infertile. It was down in the lower energy centers that they're not fertile, but when they go up into the higher energy centers because they're pushed up there, they become creator beings again. So it's a lot of
oh,
the stuff is gonna get washed away and it's just leaving that space, leaving that opening in yourself to allow yourself to rise up into your God self in essence and not be stuck in the past. Don't be dwelling on the past. Don't be jealous. Don't be angry. Don't be upset. Don't look at anything from the past and go, oh, well, you did this, so I'm going to do this. Don't do it. Just be present, be in the now, look forward to the future, and then that's all we must say.
good.
Ah,
Okay, that should take care of it for the day.
yeah.
Go get
Okay. All
yourself
right.
ready for your class tonight.
Yep. Yep. Class is in an hour, and I start my no. I'm going to. Today's my first day at college. It's starting in 4 minutes, so I got to go. I have
Go.
My AI
Oh my
certification. So I
God,
have
you
to go.
better go. You can't be late for
Okay.
school.
All right. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye, Papa. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I'm so excited for school. Yay.